Hi, today we have a LoveLab question from Pixel about an e-affair. Pixel says, I've been with the same man for 2 years now. I'm very in love with him and have been since we were 13. We're grown now at 36 years of age. About a year ago, shortly after we had to maintain a long-distance relationship, I'd found an online dating account that he had maintained while we were apart. When I confronted him, his reply was that it was his way of dealing with our distance, and claims he's never met with any of the women. I believed him. I explained that this was not okay, however, and that it was not something that I would allow to be a part of my life. He agreed. Well, 4 months later, while we were having problems due to him being homesick, I again found accounts. These were even worse, sex sites. Again, I confronted him. He told me he was not ready to be in a relationship, and that again this was his way of dealing with it. A week later, in a lot of silence, he told me he was letting all of this go, that it was not about me, and that he would not do this again. The thing is, this time I really do believe him. My biggest problem is that I feel the need to talk about it further, but he's quick to tell me, let it go, I have. The last time I tried bringing it up, he got physically ill and had to excuse himself to be sick. How do I approach him without making him feel he has to defend himself or make him ill? I just want to connect and communicate with him. Pixel, it seems like you've been really kind and really understanding in this relationship. I applaud you for confronting him about the other 2 times and being really tactful about it. You were firm and said that you were not allowed this. Unfortunately, he did break your trust and he did do it again. So I do think he dropped the ball on that one, and you're very forgiving to give him this chance again. And the fact that you've chosen to say, I believe him and I want to work on it, that's great and everything. However, he has to be able to be forgiving and understanding with you, and if you have every right to want to speak about this. I mean, it seems like you two have a really big communication issue. For instance, the first and second time you found a dating account, he didn't come to you to speak about issues that he was having, for example, being homesick or not being ready to have a relationship. Instead, he found maladaptive way to deal with it, something that wasn't good for the relationship. And he broke your promise and he broke your trust. So even though that this is just an e-affair or some, online stuff, it doesn't mean that it's not a big deal, because it's more a matter of trust rather than just having an online dating account. So I do think that it's something that you have every right to talk about. And if he's getting physically ill, maybe you could suggest therapy, because you have to be able to speak to the person that you're with. This is a really big part of a healthy relationship. And if you're willing to be with this man for the rest of your life, if this is what you want, do you want to be with somebody that you can't even speak to about your feelings? And I know guys are not as good about speaking and expressing themselves as women are. But at 36, and if you are important to him, he has to figure out how to do this in a constructive way. And if you see that he's getting sick and he's not letting you communicate, you have to question, are you happy in this relationship? Is this something that you're willing to, put up with for the rest of your life? So I know when you're very invested and it seems like you've been in love with him for so long and you've been in a relationship for 2 years now and you're 36, it's hard to even consider alternatives. And you're obviously still in love with him. But you have to know that there are always alternatives, and a mole for empowerment and being able to assert your needs. And you seem like a wonderful woman, and any guy would be lucky to be with you. So don't feel like you can't assert yourself and express your needs. You have every right. And considering how understanding you've been, it's only fair that he's just as understanding with you. And if he's not, you have to stay by what you said. You told him the first time you're not willing to have this in your life, and you are right to say this. This is a committed relationship. This is not just dating, I just met you, we don't know how it's going to go. No, you guys have known each other for a long time, and this is about him taking you and the relationship seriously. So if you said that you're not going to have it in your life, do not allow it in your life. And if you want to be able to talk about it, you should be able to talk about it. As a rule of thumb, bring up something positive to begin with. Hey, I think things are going great. I want to trust you, and I'm very much in love with you. I do want to be able, however, to talk to you about feelings that I have about things that happened in the past. It's just very important to me, and you're one of my best friends, so I want to be able to tell you how I feel. Is this something that we could just talk about? I want to know your feelings. I want to know mine. I've obviously forgiven you, and I'm moving forward. But moving forward, I want to be able to talk to you, because obviously this has been an issue in the past, and it's something that I really want to address. It's not about the situation per se. I know that you're over it and I'm over it. It's about us being able to talk to each other. So that's one way that you could bring it up. If this is still an issue and he's not up for therapy, then you have to consider what is right for you, what will make you happy, and you have to be willing to move on and maybe even consider getting yourself out there, trying other things as well. So, I know you love this man, but you have to love yourself, and you deserve it. So good luck.